Do not ask me why the morning of Christmas Eve I'm going to pick up a Christmas gift. I am the most unhinged gift giver, and honestly I love that for me because I still get the gifts and people are still happy. So I'm getting ready to go into Barnes & Noble because we saw Brady's sister's kids yesterday, or a few days ago, and they're the cutest, like literally the cutest ever. And his niece, she is like really into baby dolls. We didn't get her a baby doll for Christmas, and now I want to get her one. Like, that's the thing about being like an aunt, is like I can spoil them to death because like we're in a place financially where we can do that, and I just like love seeing the little smiles on their faces. And so like, yes, did I already get her gifts? Yes, I did, but I'm going to go get her more. And she also loves like dresses and stuff and like twirling around in them and stuff. I was thinking about getting her one of those, but I don't think they'll have those in Barnes. So we're gonna go in there, get her a baby doll, but also I'm gonna do some book shopping. Do I need to do book shopping? No. Do I want to do book shopping? Yes. So we're gonna do that as well. It is packed, obviously, because it is just literally right before Christmas, but I don't care. We're gonna go in and we're gonna have a good time. So let's head into Barnes & Noble, see what they have in here. This video is gonna be full of me trying to get to my like Goodreads reading goal by the end of the year. There isn't a ton of time left before the end of the year, so I'm really hoping that I can read the amount of books that I want. I want to read 170 books, and I'm pretty close to my goal. I haven't actually looked at my Goodreads goal, but like I'm pretty close, but I'm not there yet. So I'm hoping that I can get there, crossing my fingers that I do, but if I don't, like it's literally just a goal. It's like not a huge deal, but I'm so close, so it just makes sense for me to get there. So let's head to Barnes & Noble and see what we can find. This book by Renee Carlino has been a book I've been wanting to read for so long because I read her recent book that came out this year. So good. And then I also read, what was it called? Before We Were Strangers, I think. And that book was like okay, but this is the one of her books that I've heard like great things about. I know that Brie read this book, I think, and she really liked it, and I feel like we have very similar taste. So I definitely want to read this one soon. It's literally on my TBR, so like I don't know why I haven't read it. I feel like every time that I come into Barnes, I always see books and I'm like, I literally own them. Like, why am I not reading them? Like, this book right here is one that I literally own, have not read yet, but I loved one of the books that I read by this author. It was called Fly With Me, I think, and this is her newest release. And I really want to read this one because her banter is incredible. So I feel like I'll like it, but again, own it. Don't even need to buy it because it's already on my shelf. Sometimes I also come in here and I'm like, why am I even looking at books? Because I have so many at home, but then I remind myself that I could have worse hobbies in life. Guys, this special edition copy goes crazy. Look at this. How pretty is that? And this is the cover. Like, there's no like book sleeve or anything on the front. And this is how it looks. It's so cool. I think every time I look at this book, I'm going to think about how Taylor annotated a whole copy of this for me. Like, literally every single time I look at it, I'm gonna think about the one that she got me for Christmas. Like, if you guys missed that in the last vlog, please go watch because it is one of the sweetest Christmas gifts I've ever gotten. I think this is gonna be the last time that I come into Barnes before the new year, just because I know after Christmas it gets wild. Like, everyone gets their gift cards and stuff, and I think that I'll come in sometime in the new year. I'll probably do like a video where it's like first book haul of the new year or something like that. It's busy today, but not like wildly busy, but busy enough where I'm like, I do not need this energy whenever I am book shopping. Again, I will say like the romance section isn't wildly busy as like the rest of the store. But yeah, I think that I'll probably come back sometime in the new year. I feel like I usually get gift cards and stuff for Christmas, and I love that for me. And obviously you guys saw in the last vlog I went to the library, so like I have library books to read, like I have books on my shelf to read, like. But you guys know I also like love coming here. Like, this is my safe space. I feel like my brain like goes back and forth being like, you don't need to come, and then it's like, no, you do. And it's like, you know, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but I love buying books. It's just like a hobby of mine. Buying books and reading books, I feel like, are two totally different hobbies. I'm the type of person who judges a book by their cover, and this book right here is like just an orange plain cover. I don't even know what it's about, but I hope to one day have the like, I don't know, the guts to buy a book like this that I like know nothing about. Don't even like read the back and just like buy it. I feel like I am just like so, I don't know, stuck on like Goodreads where like I always check to see what you guys' reviews are. I also just am like, I don't know, judging books by their cover, which I definitely should not. But a cover makes such a huge difference to me. Like it really, really does. Brady's dad has really been into historical fiction, and every time I see him, he always asks like, what historical fiction books are you reading? And thankfully I'm always reading something, like for the most part. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. This is like in the inside of the book. What the heck? But yeah, he said he's reading this book right now and he's really loving it, and I feel like I'm always getting like good recs from him now that I know that he likes to read. I need to up my historical fiction game though, because I feel like I don't read nearly as much as I like want to, and I think it's because I always tell myself like, oh, maybe it's gonna be boring, but then it literally never is. This was one of the books he recently said was good, and so I actually bought it in the last time I was book shopping because he said it was so good, and I haven't read it yet. Still need to. Bought this book on Amazon because it said that like whenever I checked online that this book was not in my barns, and it's actually here, which is so nice. There's only one copy left, so maybe like someone returned it or something. I don't really know how that works, but this is the same like author who wrote The Wedding People, which is a 5-star read for me, like so good. And I want to read this soon. This is one of my like top reads that I want to pick up in the new year. I will say that I wish that it was hardback. I feel like I just am one of the few people who actually enjoys hardback better than paperback, but I'm really excited to read this one because I feel like I'm gonna love had the absolute best Christmas. Like it truly gave like the nostalgic feel that you get when you're like a kid, and I just feel so grateful that we were able to like all get together. It is the day after Christmas and I got lots of goodies, but I realized that I forgot to show you guys what I ended up getting at Barnes the other day, so I want to go through this bag. I ended up getting 3 books, and I recently did my like top 10 books of 2024, and I realized that a lot of the books that I've been just like so obsessed with throughout the year are books that I am just like feeling lots of emotions, and they just like draw out a lot in me. So I wanted to get some books that I thought would do that. So I ended up picking up 3 books while I was in there. The first book I picked up is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. This is a TV show, and this is actually about friendship, and I love books about friendship. I think whenever I read books about friendship, it always just makes me like, I don't know, feel less weird for thinking the way that I think about things. Like whenever I am reading something about a character, maybe she's overthinking something with her friends, or like they're working through something together and it's like hard, it just makes me feel very validated in how I feel and think and live my life. And I don't know, it just is like a book that I've been wanting to read for a while because of the show. I feel like I watched the show or movie or whatever it's called a while back, so I don't really remember what happened, and I've had enough space between the two to pick this one up and hopefully enjoy it. Her books are normally like historical fiction, and I don't know when this is like set. I think it's in the 70s, so but it's like not like that long ago, whereas like a lot of her other books are in like World War II or like the Dust Bowl or whatever. So that one should be a good one. I also picked up This Close to Okay. I'm pretty sure this is about a guy who is wanting to take his own life, and then like a lady sees him about to jump off a bridge or something. She like stops him, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I asked you guys for books by Black authors that are in the contemporary fiction section because it's so hard to find those books for me, because I don't normally read that genre, so like I don't even know what to look for. And since I've gotten into that genre, like I need all the recs. So one of you guys recommended this author, so I thought that I would pick up this book. It says that this book is an uplifting, cathartic story about chance encounters, hope found in unlikely moments, and the subtle magic of human connection. So looks like a really great book that I'm going to read definitely in the new year. And then I also picked up Cleopatra and Frankenstein because you guys said that this book is a great one, and I read Blue Sisters by this author, and that was like a very, very, very highly rated read for me this year. And this says this book is an addictive, humorous, and poignant debut novel about the shockwaves caused by one couple's impulsive marriage. And the main character in this, she's 24. It says it's hilarious, it's heartbreaking, about the spontaneous decisions and imperfect relationships that shape entire lives. And I just love this author's writing. Like the way that they wrote felt like a diary entry, but it didn't feel too flowery or wordy. Like I could really get into the characters' heads, and there was just enough dialogue to make me not want to put it down, but enough like backstory and enough of their like thoughts and like, you know, inner monologue that I also feel like I could really connect with who I was reading about. So this is a book I cannot wait to read. And it's so wild that like, I don't know, 2023 Shaughnessy, if she saw like the books that I picked up today, she would be like, what the heck? Like, who are you? Because I literally only used to read romance and thrillers, and all three of these books are from the contemporary fiction section. I will say that it's easier to gravitate towards contemporary fiction like right now, and I think it's just because there aren't a ton of new release like romances that come out in winter. They usually come out for the most part in like spring and summer, and then like some in fall, but like winter, like I feel like I can really catch up on the books that I already have on my shelf romance wise, and then get into different types of books in the winter. So got these three books. I did start a book that I've been reading. Like I read it whenever we were at Brady's parents' house and whenever we were like hanging with my family for Christmas. So I'll give you guys an update a little bit later on that tonight and like my thoughts on it. It's a very, very popular book that I wanted to read before the end of the year, and I was recommended this book by so many people. So I'll give you guys my thoughts later tonight. This is the book that I started, and I've heard such great things about this book, so I was really like excited to pick it up. But I actually am enjoying this book less than The Four Winds, and I'm actually really glad I started this book after reading the other book, because I think if I had started this book first as like the first book by Kristen Hanna that I've ever read, I think I would have really been deterred and not wanted to like read a ton of her books. And I think I also would have like, I don't know, my thoughts on historical fiction like always surrounded the idea that it was like slow and boring. And this is kind of making that thought come true. Like I'm not saying that the story's not good, but it is taking a long time to like really get into. It really was a very, very slow start at the beginning, and I'm like, it's starting to speed up now, but I'm on page 232 out of like 560 something pages. So, I mean, I'm definitely really far into it, but it's like, it's taken pretty much halfway through the book for me to like really get invested. I do think that because there's two different perspectives in this book, it's making it harder for me to connect with both sisters because you're getting like these different timelines. But it is interesting because there are two different timelines. So if one is kind of like not as interesting as the other, I can like kind of just look forward to the other sister's story. I don't know, I'm enjoying it, but not as much as The Four Winds. Again, I am glad that I read the other one first, and I don't think that this is going to be my favorite of hers, but I can see why people love it so much. I also have this theory that like sometimes people will read a book and they'll like become obsessed with the book because they do like the author's writing, but it's like the first book they've ever read by that author. For example, like perfect example, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I think that that is one of my least favorite books of hers, and so many people loved it. But I have this theory that the reason so many people loved it is it's the first book they've ever read of hers, so they love the writing and they've never read anything like that before, but they don't have anything else to compare it to. Like for me, my first book that I read by Colleen Hoover was Hopeless, and like her writing's very fast paced, like great for new readers. Like that was my first book, and I read it in like 2013 when I was like in like college or whatever, trying to like get back into reading. And yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, so many people have read this book as their first book by Kristen Hanna. And not saying that the book is not good, but I do think that if this had not been their first book, then maybe they would have connected more with other books first. And then like if they read this one, they'd be like, oh, like it's good. But like in comparison to these other books, like I like these other ones better. That's just my 2 cents. But again, it is a great book. Like the story itself is great. I also think that I'm not like a huge fan of war stories. Like this is my first historical fiction where it's like based on like a war, and I don't know, it's just not hitting the same. And I don't know, I just have never been a huge fan of like reading about the war. I know so many people are like history buffs and they like, you know, read about World War II or just like different wars throughout history often, but that is just not something that I have an interest in reading about. Not that it's not important, but I know her book The Women is like a really popular book as well, so maybe I'll read that one and it'll like, you know, make me more interested. But this one, it's okay. If I were to like end this book right now, I would probably rate it like 3.5 stars, and that kind of seems like an injustice almost to this book, because the book itself, like the story is great, the characters are great, the writing is great. I do feel like I am a part of the story, like, and that's very hard to do, especially for historical fiction when it's so like long ago in comparison to like my life. But I cannot stand a slow starting book. Like I genuinely, like that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves. It's like, if I'm reading, I want the whole experience to be fun. I don't want to be like, well, you have to get through this part, or you have to get through this book, or you have to get through, like, no, I want the whole reading experience to be fun. And I feel like it took me genuinely until probably page 200, like, I mean, and I'm at 232, to like really be like super invested. It just had like a slower start. So I'm really interested to see if my thoughts change after I read this other half. Maybe it'll stay the same. Maybe I'll end at, you know, 4 stars, 4.5. Maybe I'll end at 3 stars. I don't know. I do think that my thoughts could easily change because her books always have like something wild that happens like at the end, or like a twist or something. Granted, I've only read one of her books, but that's kind of how it seems. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on this. I definitely think that I'm going to read maybe like a thriller next, or like a small Christmassy read, because my reading goal right now, I am at 172 books out of 175, and I want to finish, you know, the reading goal this year, and I still have like 5 days left, so like it's very doable. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna keep reading this book. Might start another one because it's the only book I'm reading right now. I might start another one just to like, you know, keep the good vibes going. And I usually like to read 2 or 3 books at a time anyway, so that would be perfect. I just got home from Barnes, so I do have a haul to show you guys, but I'm gonna show you guys that next. I've been actually sitting here trying to just like unload some groceries that I got. I also am watching Being Daphne's channel. I'm like almost done. If you guys don't follow her, you definitely need to. She is just so fun. If you like spicy reads, she's a great follow, just because she like reads a lot of spicy reads. She also reads a lot of not spicy reads too. Like she read Antibot, and she's the person who made me want to start reading that. And I realized like while I was sitting here, because I'm like obviously have groceries and stuff I'm putting away, I'm making some chili tonight, so I got a bunch of cans of like beans for the chili. But I realized I never comment really on people's videos. Like I try to. Like anytime I watch something, I like will be like, oh, I need to like comment this thing because it's like in my head, like something I'm gonna say. But I'm always doing something while I am like just watching videos. Like there literally is never a time where I'm not doing something. I am usually unloading groceries, I'm making dinner, I'm doing laundry. Like I don't really watch YouTube when I'm just like sitting doing nothing. If you're someone who is kind of like that, comment on this video, because I need to know like how many of you guys are like that. Like so many of you guys are like constantly like commenting, and like I know your faces and names and stuff, but I know that there's some of you guys that like are like me, where you religiously watch someone's channel but you like never actually comment. Let me know if you're one of those people, because I don't know, I really appreciate you silent viewers too, because honestly I'm one of those for most of the people that I watch. I ended up picking up this Core Power protein drink because during Christmas we have not been like eating like we normally do, because obviously like you're just gonna be eating all the Christmassy things, and it is wild how much worse I feel. Like I'm not even kidding. I also have noticed that I'm not nearly as hungry. Like when we were doing like just meat, no sugar, like no bread, no sauces, you know, fruits, vegetables, I was like not even able to be satiated. At least it didn't feel like it. Like I would be so hungry. I was eating 5 times a day, but it's because your body needs so much fuel and protein to just like actually sustain itself. And I found that since like we just this like Christmas week have been kind of just like doing whatever, eating whatever, like mashed potatoes and like, you know, all the things, I fill myself up so much more with snacks than I do actual food. So then when it comes time to eat, I'm actually not hungry. And so anyway, I picked these up, just 2, because we're gonna be back on like what we've been doing for the past really like almost 2 months after like Christmas and like New Year's and stuff is over. But it's wild, and we also are kind of excited to get back to like eating how we were before with like just those like things, because we feel so much better. Like I have so much more energy, I sleep better, my stomach, like just, you know that feeling when you're hungry, like your stomach is kind of empty, but imagine that but not being hungry. Like you're not bloated at all, like not even the slightest, like you just feel like your stomach feels empty but it is actually full. Like you're not hungry at all. Like I'm literally eating 5 times a day. Like I feel so good. I have so much more energy. And I don't know, I feel like I drink more water because I'm not drinking as much juice, and like, you know, obviously juice has like sugars and stuff in it. Like, I don't know, I am loving like Christmas, New Year's, like eating cheesecake and like all the things, but I'm actually ready to get back to like how we were before. And could we start now? Yeah, but like I have 3 pieces of cheesecake in my fridge. Like I'm about to eat that. Like I'm not throwing that away. So yeah, it just has definitely made me realize that the changes we've made for ourselves have actually been beneficial and have actually made a difference. So yeah, I do have an update on this book. Incredible. I saw that this author on Instagram, I think, has like 1,500 like followers or something like that. Like I don't know if this is her first book or what. She goes crazy with this. Like I have no words. If you liked Verity by Colleen Hoover, read this book. It gives a similar vibe. There's like a little bit of spice in it. It is very, very thrilling. It's about a girl who has been kidnapped at this cabin for 10 years. Like, she's been there for 10 years, and someone new comes into the cabin and they're like, we gotta get out, we gotta get out. So you kind of see her try to be like, do I want to escape? Like, is it even possible to escape? And I'm on the edge of my seat with this. I only have maybe like 40 pages left. It's less than 300 pages, so like it's super easy to finish. I just started this one and I'm already super far into it. This is already, like, I know it's gonna be one of my top thrillers of the year. I don't know where it's gonna land, but I'm gonna make a TikTok with like my top thrillers, so be on the lookout for that. If you like want more like short form content and stuff, definitely go over to TikTok and go to Instagram, because I'm gonna probably post it there. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this and like put these groceries away, and then I'll give you guys a book haul of what I picked up at Barnes, and then I also am gonna announce the giveaway winner, because I did not announce that for Bookmas. I decided just to announce it like the last day of the year. I thought it would be kind of fun, and yeah, so let me finish this book and then I'll give you guys like my full update on both books. Okay, I have lots of good stuff to share. I wanna share some book mail, and then I also wanna share what I got from Barnes & Noble, and then I also wanna give a wrap up. I'll start with the wrap up first, and then I also wanna show you guys what Brady got me for Christmas, which his Christmas gifts are always just absolutely unreal, so maybe I'll share that one last because I might get emotional. But yeah, so the books that I ended up finishing in this video were really good. I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Really loved the story. I think that this book is probably one that I would not recommend to someone who's never read Kristen Hanna's writing before, because it really took me until like halfway through this book to get into it. I was at like 250 pages, and that's when I really started being like, okay, I don't want to put this book down. But I only kept going, not that I've ever DNF'd a book, but I only really kept going or had an interest in continuing because I knew Kristen Hanna's writing. Like, I just knew it was gonna get like a lot faster paced and like, I don't know, just more enjoyable to read. It just had a lot of build up, and I think because there's two sisters in this and it talks about two sisters, each of them had their build up. You know what I mean? Like at the beginning of the book, when like you're kind of figuring out people and their lives and like how they work, it just takes a while to like set up. I feel like it took twice as long because there were two people that Kristen Hanna had to do that for. But this book is so powerful, and it almost feels like bad to rate it under 4 stars, but I just genuinely feel like that first 250 pages took so long, and I don't know, it just wasn't like very fast paced to get to the halfway point of this book. And so for that, I'm rating it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think that if I rated the last half to the end, it would be like probably 4.25, like something, not probably, it would be something like that. And if I only rated like the first half, it would be like 3 stars. So I think together, adding it together, being a 3.5 is probably a good rating. I still think The Four Winds by her is a lot faster paced, and for someone who doesn't read historical fiction, it's a great book. If you do read historical fiction, you will enjoy this book, like 110%. I think that people who read historical fiction would be like very familiar with the setup of like how this book was, and like wouldn't really feel like it was super slow, because her writing isn't slow. It's just for someone who doesn't read historical fiction. I've literally read like 3 historical fiction books. For me, it was a little bit slower start, but still an incredible book. And she was a thick one, so really enjoyed it. And then I read the final scene. Y'all, this book, the ending, this is definitely gonna be in my top 10 thrillers of the year. Like, just so good, like so good. Again, if you liked Verity, pick up this book. There's spice in it, like one spicy scene, and it's like it's a really easy read, like super fast paced. It's like not too intricate. Like, this would be great for a new reader. Like, my sister read Verity and really liked it. I'm gonna buy this book and tell her to read it. I think that she would enjoy it. So yeah, I'm gonna rate this one 4 stars. I think the next book that I'm gonna start is Feast. It's not gonna be in this video, obviously, or probably any video, because the next video you guys will see will be on Saturday. Keep that in mind. Now we're gonna be going to 2 days a week, and you guys will get videos on Saturday, and you also get videos on Tuesday. Usually Tuesdays, I think, going forward, will probably be like a sit-down video. I have an Amazon haul video coming soon, so that's gonna be a sit-down that you guys will see. I also have, obviously, like my wrap-up, so you guys will get like pretty typical like sit down videos on Tuesday of like what you normally would see, and then on Saturday you'll for sure get like a super long vlog. I will say that on some Tuesdays you might also get a vlog. It just depends on like how I feel vlogging. So yeah, really excited for that schedule because this year has been a very busy one, and I didn't really realize how much I have like just not slowed down. So I think this will allow me to like really slow down and read and soak in the books that I'm reading. I mean, I finished these 2 books and I have now read 175 books this year. Like that is just wild to me, like absolutely wild, because I read 170 last year. So trying to figure out what I want my Goodreads goal to be next year, if I want it to be 180 or 170, 175. I just read like a lot. Like I don't really watch TV, and I feel like people are always like, how do you read so many books, da, da, da. Like genuinely, I don't really do anything else for a hobby. Like this is my hobby. Like, and now if I do a puzzle, or if I like color, or if I'm like doing chores or something, maybe I'll listen to an audiobook then. But for the most part, I'm reading physical books. And I think that like if you're watching a television show and you watch like 3 episodes of that show, like I watched Ozark with Brady and his dad around Christmas. We were planning on watching a Christmas movie, and they were like, actually we think you like Ozark, so we started an episode of that. Whenever we watched it, I was like, this is an hour. This is a full hour. So I mean, think about that. It's like you might watch 3 episodes of a show and like go late into the night, and that's 3 hours in one day. So just like taking that out of the equation, like I genuinely do not really watch TV. Taking that out of the equation, it definitely allows more time to read. Like the first movie I've watched in a very long time was like this Christmas movie that I watched. I shared it in a vlog, and then before that I can't even tell you when I watched like a full-length movie. So we didn't even end up finishing the Christmas movie because I fell asleep. So definitely want to read this next. It looks like it's going to be a shorter read. And then I'm going to show you guys what I ended up picking up from Barnes. The first book that I got is one that I am so excited about. It's Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. This was a 4-star read for me. She was an author whose book was indie published, and it like got really big on like Book Talk and stuff, and now she's traditionally published and she's in Barnes. When I went in there were only 2 copies of this book. So go to Barnes & Noble and sell out this book. Like it just blows my mind that like these authors who have these incredible stories are just now getting into Barnes & Noble. Like I love seeing the representation, but I don't want to say I hate it, but like these books we've already read, you know? Like I remember going in to get like Real by Kennedy Ryan, and the person who was like working at the store was like, yeah, like it's not like selling as well. Like I'm like, yeah, we read it. Like we literally read it like years ago. Like all of us, not all of us, but you know what I mean? Like it's already been read. It now has a new cover, and it also has like a like additional pages, but like, you know, we've read the book. So I always go in and buy books by Black authors, whether they've read them or not, if I like already love them. Like this one, I also picked up Real, and I did read the additional pages in it, but even if there weren't additional pages, I'm still gonna buy it. I don't care, because you cannot tell me that like just your average person who doesn't read diverse reads is just going in and picking up that book. Like they're not. And so how else will the bookstore know that like we want more diverse reads, you know? Like we have to buy the book. So I always try to like go in and buy books. Again, I already own this one, but I might gift it to someone. Right now, my hairdresser actually is borrowing the like book with the original cover. So I obviously am like glad I have this one, but like whenever I get the other one back, I might gift this to someone else. Like this is a great book for a new reader. Like genuinely, you'll finish it so fast. It is less than 300 pages. It's 266 pages. So you'll finish it quick. It is really easy to read. Like so easy to read. Every single time that someone's like, oh, I want to read a book by a Black author, like a new book, I'm always like, pick up this book. You will immediately be obsessed. So yeah, I picked that book up. Again, I've already read it, but I wanted to support the author, and also I just wanted to have it on my bookshelf. And then I also picked up Honey, which I have not heard of this one. I do this thing where I will like see something on Book Talk and I'll like screenshot the book. And now I have all these screenshots in my like albums of these like random books that I have no like recollection of like where they came from or anything. It's just like a screenshot of a book. So I like kind of want to go through my screenshots and like clean out my phone, but I noticed that this was one that was in there. And again, these aren't even screenshots from like booktubers that or like book talkers that I like really trust their recommendations. It's like these are just random videos. But a lot of the time if someone will be like, these are my top 10 reads, or like these are books that I loved, and all the other books are a book that I also loved, then I will pick up their book. And like this one I remember was in a TikTok of like 5 or 6 other books that I had read and like really loved. And so I was like, okay, I gotta pick it up. And it says it's an addictive coming of age story that follows the meteoric rise of pop star Amber Young as she navigates fame and self-discovery in the late 90s and early 2000s. And it's supposed to be a good book if you really liked or like grew up in the 90s or like 90s bands and that kind of thing. It says, with the captivating style of Stephanie Dollar's Sweet Bitter and the raw honesty of Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died, Isabel's debut novel Honey redefines the narratives of some of the most famous pop icons of the 90s and 2000s. It reimagines the superstars we idolized and hated, over-sexualized and underestimated, and gives them the fresh, multifaceted story they deserve. And this was in the contemporary fiction section. I've really been like eating up contemporary fiction, so really glad to have that to add to my shelf. And then I also have 2 books. Well, one is a book and then one is from my management. They always send like a Christmas gift out every year. I've been with them for going on 4 years. Next year will be 4 years with them. And I feel honestly so grateful. Like I know I said this in the last video, but like I'm so incredibly grateful to you guys. Like as a Black woman, I have to work 10 times harder and 10 times more to get the opportunities that like people who just like aren't Black are getting. And that's just like the world we live in. Like whether you're in influencer marketing, whether you're in the corporate world, like I used to work in healthcare, like doesn't matter where you're at, you have to work 10 times harder. And like, again, that's not something that I love. Like, I mean, I would love to just like do the things that everyone else does, but like, that's not the world we live in yet. Hopefully one day we will be, but I feel very grateful that I'm one of the few who can call this a full-time career, because I hustle. Like you guys saw how hard this year was for me, but like I've talked in many videos about how hard the last few years have been for me. And it's like I can't put my foot off the gas because I know that this is a dream for me, and like I'm not going to allow my situation or like my life or like bad things that happen to me to take away something that I know is mine and that God has blessed me with. And so I just want to like say thank you for being here, but also for constantly cheering me on, because again, it's like a very lonely world at times when you're building up a community and you're working with brands that you love and you're very isolated. Like I'm in the Midwest. Like I'm not like in a very like busy area with a bunch of like influencers that I can like hang out with. You know, it's like at times it gets to be like you're by yourself. Like you're pulling out your massive camera in Meijer and people are looking at you, you know? But I just love sharing here. And like I started this as a hobby, not even thinking it could be a career. Like when people are like, oh, do you remember like Bethany Moda or like whoever the heck are like these like older YouTubers? I'm like, no, I literally don't. Like my friend in college used to watch YouTube, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Like you just watch someone who like films like their life, you just like watch them. I was like, that's weird. And it's because I genuinely didn't watch YouTube, and that was only in like 2010, 2011, 2012, like that I remember saying that to her. So it wasn't even that long ago. So if you're someone who wants to get into content creation, like I made a video a long time ago with like influencer tips. If you want another one, let me know. That's not something I normally share, but if that's something that you like want to lean into, I would love to like share more advice, maybe in another video or something, maybe not like a separate video. But one thing that I know you've probably heard this before, especially if you've watched other videos, do not stop. Whether you are like, you know, having a video that doesn't do well or whatever, don't stop. But consistency is key, but continue to tweak and change your content to be something that you love, and then love even more, and then love even more, and love even more. And every piece of content that you create like try to tweak it to be something that you love more and more and more. And I think that that's something I've learned probably within the last like year and a half or so. You have to constantly continue to change and grow if you want to like stay relevant in an industry that's like constantly moving. So yeah, I feel very grateful to be with an agency that, you know, is so supportive. And I also feel grateful to be making 6 figures in a career that I'm just like, feel very privileged to be a part of. And I say privileged because I know that even if you work really hard, like sometimes it just doesn't happen for people, and like it doesn't mean that you're not working hard if it's not happening for you. And I hope that your time will come if like you are someone who is like wanting this to be a career. Oh, this is cute. They got a little hat. It says "Shine, call my manager." Oh my God, that's cute. Look at that. Oh, that's cute. That's very cute. I'm gonna definitely wear that. I love that color too. I feel like this is gonna be a hat I'm gonna wear with all my like sweats and stuff, especially when I get back to like my natural hair, which will be coming after the holidays. This will be the last time you guys see the tree, but I have loved having my braids in because I have not had to worry about my hair. And whenever I like film for a brand or anything like that, it can be extremely stressful if a brand, like, cause sometimes you'll like work with a brand like months in advance. And so like whenever something goes live, if your hair looks different, it's like, girl, like obviously you filmed this 3 months ago. So like for me to like stay as authentic as possible and to like share, you know, in a way that does not feel like it's not still me. And I don't know, I guess it doesn't really matter that much, but I just have always been that way because like the things that I share and the brands I work with are brands that I literally am obsessed with. Like someone asked me once, they're like, oh, like, do all influencers like share stuff that they hate? Like, you know, do they just like do it for money? And I'm like, for me, I can't say what anyone else does, but for me, like if someone asks me what's your favorite restaurant, I'm not telling them a restaurant that sucks. Like I don't care. I don't care. You can pay me $1 million. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to tell them a restaurant that sucks because in their brain forever, they will remember that I was the person who recommended them to that restaurant that sucks. And then they'll tell all their friends or cousins or parents or whoever, be like, yeah, she honestly told me to go to that restaurant. I didn't like that. It was disgusting. Like, I don't know why she would say that. It was dirty. And that's my name, you know? And so that's kind of how I look at what I share here. Like everything that I share is so like authentically me and things that I'm obsessed with, which again is probably why like the brands that I work with, I'm very particular with like what I share and who I work with on like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. But this is a book. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So Robbie Renee reached out to me and she asked if I wanted an ARC of her newest release. And I have not, like, I think I've talked a lot about ARCs, but like I don't take a lot of ARCs because for one, I have to love the author's work before I take an ARC because I never want to be like the first person that's like reading a book by an author maybe I haven't read from before and like I don't like the book. Like especially Black authors, it's like I want your piece of work and content to succeed, and so like I don't want to be the person that's like, yeah, it wasn't for me, like don't read it. Not that I would ever say that, but you know what I mean. And so like I already love her work. I've read Somebody's Forever and I read Somebody's Wife. Obsessed with both of them. And she sent me Somebody's Husband. Look at this. And this looks so good. It says a grieving doctor and a nurturing professor join forces on a potentially groundbreaking medical study that sparks a profound connection that neither saw coming in this unconventional romantic drama. This is supposed to be spicy. I am so excited. And on the front she wrote, thanks for the love, Shaughnessy, with love, Robbie Renee. Oh, this is so sweet. Wow, I love this. So this looks like it's almost the same vibe as Somebody's Wife, but it is a husband. Like if you've read Somebody's Wife, like the woman was married and like someone kind of comes in and like shows her that she deserves better. Because this says, Somebody's Husband is not a story of infidelity, but a story of second chances. It's the story of a man who loved a woman immensely, believing that she would be his one and only true love, until he was faced with a season of suffering, causing a loss so monumental he could hardly stand to take a breath. But then one day, the man was able to breathe without effort. A familiar feeling returned, a sensation he'd become numb 2 years ago, a thunderous thud in the center of his chest, a spark that set his soul aflame, but he was in his head.
allowing the wounds of his past to direct his path instead of following the beat of his heart. Then one day this man realized that it was acceptable to mourn a lost love and reach for a new day to laugh and love again. That's the author's note. This looks really good. Should I read the back? I feel like I should read the whole back. Like, I just feel like I should, because I don't know if it's released yet. I know it's coming out soon, but I feel like I should. It says, Dr. Dresden Xavier moved his family back to his hometown of Monroe City after an unfortunate tragedy. Searching for an escape from the reality of grief and depression, Dresden buries himself in a grueling medical research project that could yield life-changing results. What was supposed to be a short-term partnership with the professor of nursing at Monroe University quickly morphs into a case study of love, or maybe just an experiential error. Harper Kingsley, a loving wife, mother, and professor, sought tenure and a little peace and happiness in her fast-paced life. In the public eye, Harper was a poised perfectionist, but behind closed doors, she desperately fights to mend the broken threads of her feeble family. Lies, sickness, and secrets that could destroy her family permeate her soul until the healing touch of Dr. Xavier changes her trajectory. What was supposed to be a clinical research assignment evolves into something much greater and beyond their control. This looks good. This looks really good. I cannot wait to read this. I'm so excited. I also love the cover of this. Like, I feel like so many authors are kind of switching to different covers now that it's 2024, which no, shade to that or anything. Like, I think that that is cool as well, because I think that there are people who would want to read books with different covers. But like, when I went to get my hair done and I was actually bringing a couple books with me, the people that were like in the shop and like my hairdresser, she's like, oh yeah, I want a cover that like looks like that. Not this book specifically, but like, you know what I mean? And I feel like it gives the nostalgia of like when we were younger, when we would like steal our mom's books or like our auntie's books, like, just take them and be like, ooh, I'm gonna read this. Like, I love that authors, even though their books are just now coming out, are still continuing to have covers like this, or alternate covers where they have like both. I think that is like the coolest thing. So really excited to read this one. I'm definitely gonna read this soon. I just read Somebody's Forever. It's very, very good. Read Somebody's Wife. It was a 4-star read for me. Very spicy. And you guys know I'm not obsessed with spice, but the storyline is just so good. So I feel like this will be too. She also sent a little goodie in here. This says, thank you for supporting Lady Boss Collection. You just unlocked a little piece of joy, love, and creativity. Whether you're diving into a romance novel, journaling your dreams, or rocking one of my handcrafted accessories, remember this: you're powerful, unstoppable, and worthy of all the success coming your way. Keep shining, keep bossing up, and never forget your story is yours to write. With love and gratitude. Wow. And this is like one of her pieces. It looks like it's like a little bookmark or something. Like you can put it in a book, and this is like weighted. Like this is literally heavy. So that's what I got. And then I also have Brady's gift. Now, this is probably, I don't know. I always say that his gifts are the best, but like this one really hit the nail on the head. So we always say, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, because y'all know anytime I talk about my dad like being gone, it's just like a very emotional thing. And this year has been very hard, but he has truly been like my rock. And we always say that my dad is like up in heaven, he's playing golf. And we always say that Bane is probably like running around with him. And like, I don't know, I just feel like animals are in heaven, because it's like, there was a chariot that God brought down from heaven, and there were some horses on it, and they went back up there. So like, those horses went up there, so, and I don't know, the Lord's Prayer says like on earth as it is in heaven, and like on earth there's some animals. So like, I don't know. I just feel like Noah's Ark, if God said like take 2 of each and put them on the ark, and he didn't want them to die, then like why would he do that if he didn't care for animals? And maybe like there aren't a million animals up there, but I just feel like there's some special ones, and I feel like Bane was special. That's just my thoughts, okay? So we always say that like my dad's up there with Bane, like dad's playing golf and Bane's just like, trotting around, like just being his happy self on the golf course with my dad. And my dad didn't play golf a ton. Like even at his funeral, he had some of his golf buddies come, and they were like, yeah, your dad was a family man. We would try to get him to come out and play golf every Saturday. And he was like, no, I'm gonna hang out with my family because I'm off work today. Because he would work like, during the week. And they were like, he was such a family man, like he didn't get to play. But my dad, he actually has like tons of awards from golf, and he like could have went pro. And he got like tons of accolades just for being incredible at golf, and he didn't even play a lot because like he was always wanting to hang out with us. And so we always say that like the thing that he loved and didn't get to do on earth is like what we hope he's like doing in heaven. Brady got someone to make a picture of dad on the golf course next to Bane. You can see it. I'll show you guys what it looks like close up. But this is just so special because this was hand painted, and if you look really closely, it genuinely looks like my dad and like how he smiles. It looks so perfectly. And he reached out to my mom and he sent her like a bunch of proofs that the artist did to like check to make sure that it was accurate. He's also wearing, in this outfit in this picture, this outfit is the same outfit that I have a picture of him with, and he literally took the exact outfit. And I just feel so grateful to not be getting emotional. I feel so grateful to have someone that's just like so loving and will get a gift that makes me feel so treasured, but also remembering someone that I love so, so dearly. And again, I don't think that I can ever explain what it's like to lose a parent if you haven't. Like my dad was only in his early 60s, and he, you know, worked out every day and like just, you know, seemed very healthy until he wasn't, and he needed a new kidney. And like, you just don't know when your last moments are gonna be. So gifts like this where I can like really think about a memory or think about a moment that I hope is happening right now and like put it on my wall, it just feels very, 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 very special. So yeah, let me show you guys this up close. So I had to bring this in the hallway because everywhere else had a horrible reflection where like you could pretty much see what was behind it. Like you can kind of see what's behind this right now. But I'm trying to get close so you guys can see the picture of my dad. It literally looks just like him. Like that's like his smile and his laugh. And like I can literally imagine it by looking at that, because whenever he would laugh, that literally looks just like him. And I don't know how the artist got it so accurately. And then Brady, he made sure that Bane also had like his tongue out and like looked so much like him. And I'm trying not to get emotional. Like you can see, I'm just like breathing so hard. This picture is just so special because I'm trying to see like without the glare, but you can see all of the back here, there's like the pearly gates. He made sure to add that on there, and she painted all of this. And then this is obviously the golf course. It is just such a special memory. I wish you guys could see it better because honestly, this isn't even doing it justice because of this glare, but I'm gonna make a video on Instagram. So if you wanna see it closer up, you can see it on there. But yeah, it's just such a special gift, and I'm just so grateful to have gotten this, and I can't wait to put this up here in our house, because I actually have another picture up here of Dad and me at a wedding, and like Taylor got this for me, and this is a picture of us from whenever I got married, and she took that and had like someone paint it. And this one is super special too, because this one is like something that hasn't happened, but I'm like hoping that it is happening right now. So very, very special. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just feel so grateful again for you guys for always being here. I did announce the giveaway winner to Shalita on Instagram, and I sent her $100 to her Cash App because I said she could get it through Cash App, gift card, PayPal, Venmo, or like whatever she wanted, and like that's what she wanted. And so yeah, the Book Miss giveaway winner has been announced, but I definitely want to do more giveaways. I just try to like give people ample time to like do the giveaway, because I know sometimes people don't watch videos like right away, like right when they go up. And yeah, I just try to do that, and then sometimes I'll be like, oh shoot, like I need to announce like who won. So there'll definitely be more in the future, but again, make sure you guys have post notifications on. Also make sure you guys are subscribed. One of you guys actually said that you've been here for a long time, but like you hadn't subscribed because like you just hadn't thought about it, and I realized that I never like encourage you guys to do that. It's literally free, but it's gonna like let you know when my videos go up, and if I do have a giveaway, you're gonna be able to see like when that giveaway is versus like missing it if you like miss a video or whatever. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the last video of the year. I can't believe I read 175 books this year. I'm really excited for what's to come in the new year. I'm so grateful for you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Saturday in the next one. Bye guys.